Alright, so the fourth part of numbering and naming hydrocarbons is a little bit wordy, but we'll do it with some examples. So the prefixes are ordered alphabetically and numbered. Alright, this is the IUPAC naming. I've been saying IUPAC, but it's IUPAC. And we use di, tri, and tetra when there are more than one of the same group. Now I'll put a little asterisk here because this is one that we quite often forget. For example, if there were two chlorines attached, you would say dichloro. Alright, which means there's two chlorines somewhere. Alright. Note well, also use the number to show where it is attached. For example, if you had a carbon chain and there was 4 bute with single bonds, a butane, but on the second carbon and third carbon you had a chlorine, you would have 2,3-dichlorobutane. Now I could draw this just from the name, so I'll do that. Okay. 2,3-dichlorobutane would look like this. So bute is the base. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Ane, all single bonds. 2, 3. So we're going to call this 1, 2. So 2 chlorine and 3 chlorine. Di means there's 1, 2. Chloro, chlorines, bute, 4, ane, and the rest are hydrogens. Okay, so the IUPAC numbering system helps us draw these sort of little complicated. Well, this is a fairly simple one, but when it gets more complicated, all the numbering is like instructions. Okay, we just got to break down what the instructions are. That's basically all this is. It's an instruction set. Okay, and we use a comma to separate numbers, so 2-3, and a dash to separate numbers from letters. Okay, really straightforward. So let's do an example of 4a. So prefixes are ordered alphabetically and numbered. We're going to bring all of our rules in. So find the longest chain. Rule number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is possible. We can go straight across. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's another 7, so we've got to decide which one's which. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so our longest chain is, let me get this autofocus going, is 7. So we can either start here, there, or start there. Now you'd have to check both because it may change. So we've got, let's just call this one 1, yeah, because it looks easy. It's nice and straight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So our base is going to be 7 is hep, and all single bonds, so it's a heptane. Okay. Rule number 2 and 3, the principal functional group has the lowest number and determines the suffix of the stem name. So number, so the principal functional group is the lowest. Order is alkanes, halogens, alkyls. So we've got no alkanes, no halogens, we've just got alkyl groups. We've got a methyl group there and an ethyl group here. How do I know? Well, there's 1 carbon with 3 hydrogens, that's a methyl. 2 carbons with the rest hydrogens is an ethyl group, yeah, coming off the chain. So these are our choices. We can call this 2-methyl, and this one is on the 3rd carbon chain, it's an ethyl, 3-ethyl. So we can either call this 2-methyl 3-ethyl heptane or 3-ethyl 2-methyl heptane. What is the rule? Well, rule 4a, prefixes are ordered alphabetically and numbered. So the lowest group we'll go with alphabetically is the ethyl group. Alright, so it's going to be 2-methyl, I'll have to start a fresh one. Okay, so 2-methyl 3-ethyl heptane. Okay, let's check if there's any other possibilities. If we were to call this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, does it change anything? Well, 2, you've got the methyl group, 3 is the ethyl group, it doesn't change anything. So that is a correctly named hydrocarbon. Alright, so, oh, actually, no it's not, I'm an idiot. It has to be in alphabetical order. M does not come before A. So even I make mistakes. So we've got 3-ethyl, 2-methyl, heptane. All right, I'm glad I made that mistake because that's a common error. Okay, let's have a look at this next one. Taking our rules into consideration, we've got, sorry, my computer's just timed out. All right, we got this one. So we've got to find the longest carbon chain. That's not a carbon, that's chlorine. Chlorine, so 1, 2, 3. So prop, single bonds, ane. All right, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. Which way do we number it? Well, rule number 2, the principal functional group has the lowest number and determines the suffix of the stem name. So the chlorine starts on 1 here. If we were to call this 1, 2, 3, all right. If we did it the other way, 1, 2, 3, the chlorine would start on 2. So the lowest possible one, yeah, is going to be this way, 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to turn that back into our C's. So we've got 1 chloro, 2 chloro. So if we were to say 1 chloro, 2 chloropropane, that's actually not right, okay? Because of this rule. Use di, tri, and tetra when there are more than one of the same group. For example, if there's 2 chlorines attached, we say dichloro. Then we use a number to show where it is attached. So we know it's at 1 and 2. So we can go 1, comma, okay, use a comma to separate numbers, 2, dash, di means 2 chlorines, chloro, 2 chlorines, prop, 3 carbons, ane.